Well, it's a small world. It really is, right? Yeah, and this next story really demonstrates that.
A New Mexico woman found out she has a whole other family after 28 years. Now, she did grow up knowing that she was adopted, but she always wondered who her biological parents were.
Yeah, the mother and daughter we're about to introduce you to say they did plan to look for each other at some point, but even though they thought about hiring private investigators, Brianna Wilson explains they were really a lot closer than they could have ever imagined.
And Brianna sat down with them.
Yeah, that's right. It's really crazy how this all played out. The stars really aligned for these two. Mary Craig grew up in Gallup, New Mexico, never knowing that the whole time her biological mother, Danae Saavedra, lived just 2 hours away, right here in Albuquerque.
Let's find out. You get one side, I get the other. Okay. Weird. 99.99%.
Mother and daughter Danae Saavedra and Mary Craig were reunited after 28 years.
I always wanted to find her and just hope that she was happy. And, you know, I think any mom that places for adoption hopes that.
I've always thought about it and never really thought that I'd be able to meet her at all.
Last year, it finally happened unexpectedly when Maren decided to call a man who claimed he was interested in adopting and wanted advice.
I called him and star 67 the number. I'm like, I don't know this guy. And he's like, okay, asking me different questions. And he's like, what agency did you go through? And I was like, that's kind of interesting, but okay. And a couple of like more personal questions. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. And he's like, well, I'm asking you these questions because I think I might be your half-brother. And I'm like gut drops, everything. I'm like, what?
Meanwhile, Maren's cousin, who was living with her at the time, started dating someone.
Turns out to be her ex-husband. And they ended up getting married and putting two and two together.
My ex-husband calls me out of the blue one day and says, hey, don't want to freak you out, and then started asking me questions about, you know, her birthday and like where she was born.
Maren and Danae decided to meet in person for the first time at a DNA testing site. 2 days later, they got the results.
$99.99998. So.
And how did you feel in that moment?
Shocked. I was shocked. I was hopeful to begin with.
But the signs were there, like their similar quirks, mannerisms, and appearance.
I'm looking at you and I see the resemblance, and it's like, did you ever just like look at each other and did you kind of know before the results came in, or did you have those thoughts?
I kind of had a feeling, but I didn't want to get my hopes up because, I mean, that would have been hard to have them come back negative and, okay, well, I'm still looking kind of a thing.
Well, if we're not, you know, I'll help you find your mom, and she was going to help me find my daughter.
During the closed adoption process, Danae was told her daughter was going to Colorado, but Maren was actually raised just 2 hours away in Gallup. Both of her adoptive parents have since passed away.
I think that it would have been nice if they were here to be able to meet her, because I think that they would have really liked you. And I think you guys would have gotten along really well.
It would have been nice to thank them for taking care of her, and, you know, when I couldn't.
Danae and Maren said they would encourage anyone searching for a long-lost loved one to not give up.
Always keep looking, even if things get tough.
It never hurts to try to find them, you know, and all they can do is say no, or, you know, and that would be hard, but it's totally worth it. I mean, being able to connect with that person and have that special relationship again.
The story really just shows you how small this world is, and the way this mother and daughter were able to connect these dots and find each other after almost 30 years. It's nothing short of a miracle.
And what's more incredible too, Brianna, is you know these people personally.
Yeah, that's true. So I actually grew up with Marin in Gallup, but my mom grew up with her mother, Danae, here in Albuquerque. So just like everybody else, we had no idea that they were related until they posted those results online.
And you know, I tell this to Danielle all the time, but just how small, like,
this is a real little big town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know this person, and like 6 degrees of separation for everybody. So.
All over New Mexico. Thank you so much, Brianna.
Yeah.
Great story.